Welcome, wine lovers, to another exciting episode of your favorite podcast, Home of Wines. I'm Manuel, and from sunny Orlando, Florida, I extend the warmest welcome to all of you.
And I'm Maria, your companion for sips and vinicultural curiosities, also from this beautiful city. Today, it brings me immense pleasure to guide you through the charms of viticulture and Italy's rich wine legacy. Get ready for a deep and captivating dive into the world of Italian wine, uncorking its history, unveiling its terroir, and delighting in its unparalleled flavors.
That's right, Maria. As the title of today's episode perfectly puts it, the soul of Italy in every glass. We'll embark on a journey through the history, terroir, and flavors of Italian wine.
Today, we'll explore Italy's millennia-old history, the dazzling diversity of its grapes and styles, the uniqueness of its regions and terroirs, the rigorous legal framework, and the exciting innovations shaping the future of Italian wine.
Indeed, Maria. In Italy, wine transcends the mere concept of a beverage. It's a tangible manifestation of its culture, its geography, and the unwavering passion of its people. Every bottle tells a story, every sip evokes a landscape. Our goal today is to provide a profound and passionate understanding of this universe, cultivating not only knowledge, but also appreciation for every drop of this ancient nectar.
And to do that, there's no better place to start than the origins of wine in Italy and its millennia-old history. We must delve into its deepest roots.
And to do that, we'll trace back to viticulture's earliest forms, dating back approximately 8,000 years, finding its cradle in the fertile mountainous regions of the Caucasus and the Zagros Mountains. From there, the knowledge and practice of vine cultivation spread like wildfire.
But it was Greek colonization that played a crucial role in spreading wine culture throughout the northern Mediterranean. The Greeks, with their deep connection to Dionysus, the god of wine, brought not only vines, but also the techniques and the love for crafting this divine beverage.
That's right. And in parallel, the Phoenicians, skilled navigators and traders, were the great disseminators of wine in the southern and western Mediterranean. They shared their advanced wine culture with peoples like the Libyans, Iberians, and Italians. Fascinating examples of their trade include the export of fine white wine from Byblos to Cyprus, Crete, Sicily, and Sardinia, often infused with pine resin or pistachio, a practice we might consider an aromatic curiosity today.
And no less intriguing is the story of the Carthaginian passum wine, made from raisins and exported from the Bagratis Valley, modern-day Tunisia, to Sicily, Sardinia, the Balearic Islands, and Spain.
That's true, Maria, but despite coming from a military rival of Rome, this sweet, concentrated wine gained considerable popularity in Italy, proving that good wine often transcends political barriers.
And so, thanks to the Phoenicians, wine production arrived on the Italian peninsula around 200 BC, and its impact was so significant that the Greeks, observing the abundance of vines in the south, designated it Onitria, the land of grapes.
The figure of the Greek god Dionysus was adopted by the Romans under the name Bacchus, and his cult and festivities, the Bacchanalia, reflected the centrality of wine in Roman life.
The Romans not only adopted wine practices, but perfected them. They were pioneers in experimenting with vine grafting, seeking to improve the quality and adaptation of vine grapes. It was Pliny the Elder, in his monumental work Naturalis Historia, who meticulously documented over 50 different wines, offering us a valuable window into the diversity and sophistication of Roman winemaking.
Among the practices used by the Romans, the use of wooden barrels for transport stood out, a significant advance compared to fragile amphoras.
The Wine Harvest Festival was an event of great social importance. It was common practice to mix the must with honey to obtain mulsum, a sweet and aromatic drink.
Also, the clarification of white wines, which were the most valued, and aging in amphoras for periods of 15 to 25 years were common procedures, demonstrating the Romans' deep understanding of wine's evolution.
Wine also held immense social importance, serving as a symbol of wealth and luxury. Its consumption was stratified by social class. Nobles typically drank white wine in crystal glasses, while red was more common in popular taverns.
And speaking of wealth and luxury, without a doubt, Falerno stands as the most praised and expensive Roman wine.
It was the most celebrated and expensive Roman wine of its era, something like the Romane Conti of its era.
That's right, Maria. It was cultivated on the slopes of Mount Falerno, produced on the Amalfi Coast near Mount Massic, modern-day Campania. Pliny the Elder called it vinum Dei, the wine of the gods, and he wasn't exaggerating. This wine could reach up to 15% alcohol, a huge amount for the time. The Romans diluted it with snow water or seawater, yes, salt water, to soften it.
And it was aged between 15 and 20 years. The famous vintage of 121 BC was so legendary that Julius Caesar is said to have served it at banquets. Even the poet Horace wrote, "No wine is more generous than Falerno."
It's important to remember that, like the Greeks, the Romans traditionally drank wine diluted with water, a practice that would seem unusual to us today, but was the norm in their time. Finally, wine wasn't just a beverage. It was also a fundamental ingredient in Roman gastronomy, as attested by the detailed recipes in Apicius's De Re Coquinaria.
Moving forward in history, after the fall of the Roman Empire, the role of religious orders, especially the Order of St. Benedict, was fundamental. They maintained an extended viticulture. In their monasteries, viticultural knowledge was preserved and transmitted, ensuring the continuity of this tradition.
A significant change during this era was the transition from storage in amphoras to the use of wooden barrels, an innovation that would profoundly influence the evolution of wine and its preservation.
Yes, Manuel. However, the challenges of preservation persisted, and wine often turned to vinegar with the arrival of spring, evidencing the technological limitations of the time.
After that historical journey, it's clear that today, Italy is a melting pot of grape varieties and wine styles, a diversity that distinguishes it on the global wine scene.
That's right. And what truly sets Italy apart in the world of wine is its extraordinary diversity of indigenous varieties. While many wine regions have succumbed to the popularity of global varieties, Italy has managed to preserve and celebrate its varietal richness.
Among the most representative indigenous grapes, we find Agliano. This grape from southern Italy, particularly from Campania and Basilicata, is capable of producing dark, full-bodied, and incredibly high-quality red wines. Although its production is relatively low and is often blended with other grapes, pure Agliano offers an expression of great depth and complexity with remarkable aging potential.
Barbera. Originally from Piedmont, the Barbera grape was initially considered marginal due to its high acidity. However, in recent decades, it has experienced a remarkable resurgence. Wines made with Barbera are full-bodied, silky, and display aromas of raspberry, blackberry, licorice, and spices. Its most distinctive characteristic is its almost complete absence of tannin, making it a surprisingly refreshing option in young wines, while aged versions acquire a particular elegance.
And the backbone of Tuscany, Sangiovese, is the grape behind iconic wines like Chianti, Brunello di Monticello, and Vino Nobile di Montepulciano. It's a versatile grape that produces reds with vibrant acidity, firm tannins, and notes of cherry, plum, herbs, and earth.
The jewel of Piedmont, Nebbiolo is the grape responsible for the majestic Barolo and Barbaresco. These wines are characterized by high acidity, powerful tannins, and a complex aromatic profile that evolves with age, revealing notes of rose, tar, truffle, and cherry. They are wines of great structure and immense aging potential.
Although Italy prides itself on its indigenous varieties, it's true that French varieties like Cabernet Sauvignon, Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, Merlot, and Syrah are also cultivated in various regions and hold considerable importance, especially in what's known as the New World of wine. Super Tuscans are high-end red wines from Tuscany, Italy, known for their exceptional quality, innovation, and departure from traditional Italian winemaking. They emerged as a creative response to the strict regulations of appellations of origin in the 1960s and 70s. However, in Italy, these grapes typically complement the unparalleled palette of local varieties.
Italy's diversity of more than 400 grape types translates into an astonishing variety of wine styles. We can classify them as follows.
Still wines. These constitute the majority of Italian production. Reds, from the robust reds of Piedmont and Tuscany to the lighter, fruitier wines of other regions, Italian reds offer an immense range of experiences. Whites. Veneto is home to refreshing white wines like Soave, while Sicily produces aromatic and structured whites with varieties like Criollo and Caricante. Many other regions offer high-quality whites with great varietal expression. And rosés, known as rosato, these wines are made in various regions and offer a fresh and versatile alternative.
Italy is also famous for its sparkling wines, as in Prosecco. From Veneto, this is the most globally recognized Italian sparkling wine, valued for its freshness, fruity notes, and lively bubbles. It's primarily made with the Glera grape.
Franciacorta, a traditional method sparkling wine from northern Italy that competes in quality with the best champagnes. And Lambrusco, from Emilia-Romagna. This is a sparkling and semi-dry red, often with a touch of sweetness and vibrant fruit notes.
And we can't forget about the sweet and fortified wines. Italy produces a variety of sweet dessert wines, often made from dried grapes like Vinsanto from Tuscany or Passito from Pantelleria, which offer exceptional concentrations of flavor and sweetness. And although not as prominent as those from other countries, there are also fortified wines, such as Marsala from Sicily, a fortified wine used for both drinking and cooking.
The Italian geography, with its diversity of landscapes, climates, and soils, is the cradle of a myriad of wine regions, each with its own identity. The key to understanding this diversity resides in the concept of terroir.
Italy boasts 20 administrative regions, and all of them produce wine, underscoring the omnipresence of viticulture in the country. Let's explore some of the most influential.
We'll start with Piedmont. Situated in the northwest, this mountainous region is the birthplace of two of the most famous and long-lived red wines of Italy, Barolo and Barbaresco. Both made with the Nebbiolo grape, they are supreme examples of terroir expression. It also produces Barbera and Dolcetto, among others.
Tuscany. In central Italy, Tuscany is synonymous with Chianti and other reds based on the Sangiovese grape like Brunello di Monticello and Vino Nobile di Montepulciano. This region combines a rich history with a constant pursuit of quality.
Veneto. Located in the northeast, Veneto is famous for its production of Prosecco, which we discussed earlier, a very popular sparkling wine globally. Additionally, it produces white wines like Soave and reds like Valpolicella and Amarone, showcasing remarkable versatility.
Emilia-Romagna. This region, also in the north, is known for Lambrusco, which we discussed earlier, a sparkling and often slightly sweet red wine that has earned a special place at the table.
Sicily, the largest island in the Mediterranean, is a treasure trove of indigenous varieties like Nero d'Alva, red, and Grillo, white. Its wines reflect the strength of the Mediterranean sun and the richness of its volcanic soils. It's important to note that Italy, as a leader in the European wine industry, is at the forefront of adopting technologies to ensure authenticity. Regions like Tuscany and Piedmont are actively implementing blockchain technology to guarantee the traceability of their wines, offering unprecedented transparency to the consumer. This ensures that a Chianti or a Barolo that reaches your table is genuine and represents the origin and quality it promises.
And since we're talking about its geography, we can't forget that the concept of terroir is the cornerstone of quality wine. And in Italy, its influence is palpable in every sip.
That's right, Maria. Terroir refers to the unique combination of environmental, geographical, and human factors that influence the distinctive character of a wine. While we won't go into specific Italian terroirs, we can generalize based on the universal principles of terroir.
Let's start with its geological composition. The soils, with their diverse composition, clay, calcareous, granitic, volcanic, sandy, determine the availability of nutrients and water for the vine, directly influencing the flavor profile and structure of the wine. For example, the volcanic soils of regions like Mount Etna in Sicily impart a very particular mineralogy and aromatic complexity.
Also important is climate and topography, as Italy's rugged orography, with its mountains, hills, and valleys, creates a wide variety of microclimates. Altitude, sun exposure, proximity to bodies of water, like the Mediterranean Sea or lakes, and wind patterns all contribute to specific nuances in the grapes. These factors influence grape ripening, acidity, sugar levels, and the development of aromatic compounds.
And of course, we must consider human factors. The traditional and modern viticultural practices transmitted through generations also form part of the terroir. The selection of vine clones, pruning methods, vineyard management, and specific winemaking techniques of each region are human decisions that shape the final expression of the wine. The proximity to the Mediterranean Sea, for example, is a crucial factor in many Italian coastal regions, bringing the influence of sea breezes that moderate temperatures and contribute to the freshness and aromatic expression of the varieties.
Italy is undeniably one of the global leaders in wine production, and as such, it operates under a rigorous legal framework and is at the forefront of innovation and sustainability.
Well, Manuel, we've covered the grapes, regions, and terroir. Let's look at Italy's denomination of origin system, which is a cornerstone for certifying the quality and origin of its wines. This system, designed to protect the consumer and guarantee the typicality of the product, has a structure that perhaps Manuel can explain to us.
Of course, Maria. Let's start with Vino da Tavola, VDT. The most basic level, these are table wines with no specific geographical or varietal requirements. The next category is Indicazione Geografica Tipica, IGT. These are wines that come from a specific geographical area with less strict requirements than DOC, DOCG, but which allow producers to experiment with non-traditional varieties. Then we have Denominazione di Origine Controllata, DOC. These are wines from a defined production zone with more rigorous regulations on varieties, yields, winemaking methods, and organoleptic characteristics. And finally, we have Denominazione di Origine Controllata e Garantita, DOCG. This is the highest level of quality applied to wines of excellence that have maintained a consistent reputation and comply with the strictest regulations. These wines undergo analysis and tasting before being marketed.
This Italian system aligns with the regulations of the European Union, EU, which establishes the categories of Protected Designation of Origin, DOP, and Protected Geographical Indication, IGP. The main difference lies in the wine's connection to the terroir and the strict regulation of production phases, which are more rigorous for DOP wines.
Furthermore, the EU has implemented increasingly exhaustive labeling regulations. Since December 2023, the declaration of nutritional information, energy value, and a list of ingredients on wine labels is mandatory. Producers have the option of providing this information directly on the label or via a QR code, which directs the consumer to a web page with the details. It's essential that this information is available in a language comprehensible to the consumer in the country of commercialization, which in the EU context can mean up to 24 different languages.
But Italy doesn't just cling to tradition. It enthusiastically embraces technology to boost quality, efficiency, and sustainability in its viticulture. As we mentioned, renowned regions like Tuscany and Piedmont are implementing blockchain technology to ensure the authenticity of their wines. This allows for complete traceability from the vineyard to the bottle, guaranteeing consumers that a Chianti or a Barolo is genuine and meets the quality standards of its denomination.
Also, the application of artificial intelligence and big data in the vineyard is revolutionizing viticulture. It allows anticipating vine needs, optimizing irrigation, predicting harvests, defining the best grape blends, and assuring consistent quality. Sensors and drones collect data that, analyzed by AI, offer valuable information for decision-making. Technology also contributes significantly to sustainability. Smart irrigation systems minimize water consumption, and the development of new techniques allows the reuse of winemaking byproducts, such as pumice and lees, to generate energy or produce other valuable compounds.
Technology also enhances the consumer experience. Virtual tastings and platforms offering personalized pairings are bringing wine to new audiences and deepening the knowledge of enthusiasts. Sustainability has also become a fundamental pillar of modern viticulture, and Italy is at the forefront of these practices.
Organic wines. These are cultivated without the use of synthetic chemical additives, fertilizers, pesticides, fungicides, and herbicides. Biodiversity in the vineyard is promoted and natural practices are used to control pests and diseases. Certifications like USDA Organic for the US and EcoCert International ensure compliance with these standards.
Also, biodynamic wines. Based on organic agriculture, biodynamic wines adopt a more holistic, spiritual, and ecological approach. They consider the vineyard as a living and self-sufficient ecosystem. They use specific natural additives, the biodynamic preparations, follow a lunar and astronomical calendar for agricultural tasks, and avoid any chemical intervention. The most recognized certification is Demeter. An example is Preparation 500, which involves burying cow horns filled with manure.
And let's not forget natural wines. These are an extension of organic or biodynamic cultivation with a philosophy of minimal intervention in the winery. They're characterized by spontaneous fermentation using native yeasts present in the grapes and the winery environment, and the absence of additives, including sulfites, as much as possible. There is some controversy regarding their certification and precise definition, as there's no one single universally accepted standard, as in the case of organic or biodynamic. These approaches reflect a growing commitment of Italian wines to the environmental protection, consumer health, and the authentic expression of terroir.
But the Italian wine sector, despite its leadership, is not immune to global challenges. Structural declines in volume. Many traditional wine markets are experiencing a decrease in per capita consumption, especially among younger generations.
Also, the demographic profile of wine consumers tends to be older, which poses a challenge in attracting new generations.
It's also facing difficulties related to climate change. Phenomena such as droughts, late frosts, heat waves, and extreme weather events are affecting viticulture, demanding adaptation and resilience from producers.
However, and to conclude our topic, we'll say that there are also promising trends, such as wine tourism that evolves towards a more authentic and personalized experience, where visitors not only taste wine, but also immerse themselves in the culture, history, and the winemaking process.
Also, the demand for organic, biodynamic, and natural wines continues to grow, reflecting a greater consumer environmental awareness. And there's experimentation with new wine styles and more sustainable or convenient packaging formats.
And so we've reached the end of our passionate journey through the soul of Italy in every glass. We've explored the millennia-old origins of wine on this peninsula, its deep connection with ancient Rome, and the fundamental role of religious orders in its preservation. We've discovered the astonishing diversity of indigenous Italian grapes and the richness of styles they offer, from robust reds to vibrant sparkling wines.
We've understood how the concept of terroir, that magical interaction between the soil, the climate, and the human hand, sculpts the unique personality of wines in emblematic regions like Piedmont, Tuscany, or Sicily. Finally, we've analyzed the rigorous legal framework that protects the quality and origin of Italian wines, as well as the exciting technological innovations and commitment to sustainability that are shaping their future. Italy, with its unparalleled combination of tradition and technology, is destined to maintain its global leadership in the world of wine. We hope this episode of Home of Wines has sparked your interest and enriched your understanding, and above all, your passion for Italian wine.
We encourage you to continue exploring and enjoying this vast and delicious universe. We invite you to follow us on our social media and to share this episode with friends and family who also love wine
And of course, leave us your comments and questions. We want to know which Italian wines you like best and what topics you'd like us to cover in future programs. Your interaction is the engine of Home of Wines. Join our community and let's continue discovering together the wonders that wine has to offer. And remember, wine is appreciated more when it's understood better.